My first book was called, it was Everyday Resiliency, how to be, and it was this kind of idea of like setting the stage, Mike, really of what human resiliency looks like and very much what my recovery looked like. So again, braiding that personal story with the theory we developed. And then with Stress Wisely, the new book that we're chatting about today, this was very much this attempt to look at this kind of proactive approach about managing our wellness in a really sustainable way. And what I found personally was that there was so much information about stress management and wellness that it wasn't about like, finding or accessing information, Mike. It was like I needed to find a way to discern what makes sense for me, what makes sense for people, and when should we be doing these things, and how does it all fit together in very full lives. So what we dived into that research thinking about is like, how do we sustain real wellness? And like, how do people actually get to the place where they're like enjoying their lives? And the big idea that really kind of sparked this was working with groups all around the world and just recognizing that, we're all trying to live the dream, yet living the dream shouldn't kill us. And people were so unwell in these very successful lives. So again, that's what kind of started that thinking about it. And again, resiliency, we often talk about is bouncing back, right? So bad things have happened and now we try to bounce back. But I wanted to take a proactive approach around how do we like create a hedge of protection around these lives that we get to co-create so that way we can be well in the process. And in our research, what we did come upon, the folks who are able to really live well and feel well are persons who essentially looked after these 8 areas of their life. So Stress Wisely is this constellation of ways that we can look after these 8 unique areas in our lives so we can really stress well to live well.
And do you recall those 8? Can you rhyme them off?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
can you?
Yeah.
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 I'm
Yeah.
impressed. I'm impressed. I
Yeah.
was just going to bring up the book and look at them, but
Yeah.
if you can
Yeah,
remember them,
of course.
amazing.
Yeah. So the first one we talk about is the physical self, right? So that's
Yeah.
like the sleep, nutrition, exercise, the absence of disease. Most often, what we think about when we think about health and wellness, it's our physical bodies. So we know that's an important part of it, absolutely. But what we also came upon is that our emotional self has to get looked after too. Like that idea of our relationship with our feelings and our emotions, and essentially learning how to work with our emotions as an ally. The other 6 that we talk about is the intellectual, like this idea about how we see the world, how we interpret the world, how we think, critical thinking, all of those beautiful things. The quality of our thoughts and our thinking matter, given that they're so interconnected with our feelings, and our feelings are so interconnected with our actions and our behavior. So those were kind of like the 3 first realms that we explored. And then as we dove into that, Mike, we discovered that our communities, our social health, our social systems really had an impact on our health, as well as our environments, where we live, how we live within our environments, that on a micro and a macro level in terms of all the way from our homes to our planet. We also then uncovered the importance around our occupational health and our financial health, as well as our spiritual health. And what was quite encouraging, I think, is all of a sudden we came upon this idea that each of these realms were really important. And then my first thought was it would be a full-time job to manage our wellness in each one of those 8 areas, that feels like it wouldn't be possible. But what we later discovered, it's persons who put just a wee bit of attention at the right time in each one of those 8. So in some cases, it's actually doing less, but with just more clarity as to why I'm doing this behavior, actually allowed people to really start to slow down and enjoy their lives and be well again.